Hi, my amazing souls. It's your blissful soul, Katrina WW for Wadico. Welcoming you back yet again to this my beautiful YouTube channel. Today it's all informative. We are at the Golden Tulip Hotel in Westlands, and we are with the Black Albinism for a Climate Change Action Roundtable. That's your girl in all her full glory, looking like 10 over 10 plus 10 minus nothing. Okay, so come with me. Let's talk climate change, the effects it has on persons with disability, but more so here, the focus will be on people with albinism, how they try to cope with it, and something very, very wonderful, a product that the Black Albinism are launching called UV Safe. That is going to be a game changer for persons with albinism, and they said it's also inclusive for other persons with disability. So come with me, let us learn. Now I will apologize sorry, in advance. You know, this weather, this month, it has been just raining randomly, so the voice might be a bit troubled, the sound, but bear with me because it was important for you to get everything, especially from the horse's mouth. I love that their toilets are disability friendly. I love that about it. So bear with me where the sound will not be at its best. Yeah, it's because it was raining heavily. It has been raining heavily this month. When it decides to rain, it really pours. But that won't hinder us from doing good, especially for my people, my core persons with disability. So this is SDG what? 2? For people who have been in class, climate action is SDG what? Yeah, let's discuss that. Okay. Now, Alan Herbert was our host. Yeah. The leader, I call him Bosire. He says, don't, of the Black Albinism. So, is it a society or what, Alan? So there he is welcoming us into the function.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. As he said, my name is Dr. Sylvia Morango Chabo Ashintiku. I am a member of the National Council, Board Director at the National Council for Persons with Disabilities, and on top of that, why I stand here and why I'm in this community apart from that is a champion for inclusion of persons with neurodevelopmental disabilities. I am a mother of 3, and 2 of my children are on the autism spectrum with other comorbid conditions like epilepsy, learning disabilities, and sometimes this comes with also physical challenges. So it practically touches all aspects of disability directly into my life. And I represent caregivers most of the time because 80% of the chances that are there of any person with disability going anywhere starts with the decision the parent makes. How many of you agree with that? Right? What's today's topic of discussion? Climate change. I remember when growing up, there is this lady, Wangari Maathai. How many of us know Wangari Maathai? Her words and the things she was preaching are deeply engraved in us, right? Yes. And that's why we're sitting in this room today. You are the change agents that are going to change the narrative of climate change and persons with disabilities. When Wangari Maathai used to walk around and being harassed by the government until she was planting trees, for us growing up, because that's the era I grew up in, it was just, oh yeah, that lady. But look at her now. All the things she was saying, are we not the ones bearing the brunt? Right? Who is facing all the, look at the weather today and how it has been. And like he said, I was telling him back in Nigeria where I am now adopted, rather married to. It's been raining. Every time I call it, it's raining. There's been floods. When you're driving past and there is water up to the door, the first time I experienced that like 3 months ago, I was like, no, we have to be passing that. This is the only way to pass. And I'm like, how do you guys live with this? So we are very privileged here in Kenya. We're heading over El Nino, right? And we've all been anticipating. And here we have a budget of buying canoes, right? And boats. Yes, we are ready. But you see, the thing with nature is you never know how hard it's going to hit. You never know the impact and the wrath that it can come with. And as we are paving ways for urbanization, cutting down trees, building, we've been told we live in the land of stone. Yeah? Yet we want to modernize everything. Yet we forget one thing. They're the trees, the environment that control and make sure that we all live and breathe well. But we forget that. And it will come round and beat and bite us. Because you see, the places where rivers were and dried and come and build, we've had a flash flood, right? And when they come and they do not care if you build a house of stone, of mud, whatever it is, it will pass with it, right? So that is reclaiming. Even elephants, they use a path. If you build, they will come destroy it and still pass through the same route because that's their route. And we are not respecting our environment in that manner. And we're just being careless with it. And that's why we're doing what we're doing today. We have conversations, and it affects our lives. We're having very adverse effects in terms of when we're having fights in Mandera and up in the north and cattle rustling. What's the cause of that? Anyone? We're all fighting for resources, right? Yes. They're fighting amongst themselves for resources. And what is the cause of that? Why do we have deserts, etc.? Same thing we discussed, climate change. And the sad reality as people shoot each other, fighting for resources, which number increases? Displaced, right? Yes. You have death, right? How many PWDs do we get after that? Yes. So the number of PWDs increases. And which means they get affected in a life cycle, because from there, when the families of the nomads are moving, who is left behind? The persons with disabilities, because they are considered as a burden. Yeah? And that's the narrative we want to change. Whatever we do now will stop this vicious cycle. We've seen so many disasters that have been going around. We're seeing wildfires, we're hearing, okay, we're very lucky to be in Africa, so what we're facing is more of the rains and the floods. But there is extreme weather across the continent. The summers are too hot, the winters are very extreme and elongated. We're seeing earthquakes. In Morocco, who would expect it? We're seeing active volcanoes where we are getting warnings that they could erupt. Who knows about the Rift Valley? What happens in the Rift Valley? Here at home? Yes. Yes. So we are waiting for something that we all do not know, and that's Mother Nature. It does not warn you. When the time comes, it will just happen. But the thing is, are we ready for it? Do we feel like we're ready? Are we ready as a country, as a continent, for the effects of climate change? Alan says he does not think so. Anyone with a different opinion? Okay, he's ready and he's getting ready.
My name is Sherry. I work with Black Academy in the Communications Department. And today I'm going to take you through the project we've been doing in 3 counties. That is Kajiado, Machakos, and Kitui.
Here, my loves, let the slides tell the research, yeah, because they are self-explanatory and it got too noisy, okay? So apologies for that, but that's it. That's what she was talking about.
This is the buy long sleeve t-shirt for the girl to put under the blouse so that they can also be protected. So it is an extra cost for the parents with with kids with albinism as far as school kids going to school is concerned. There's also a challenge whereby as much as we are telling the schools to take care of these kids in school for people with albinism, if we don't have the solution by giving the sunscreen to schools to be giving these kids, you find a kid going to school and that's only one bottle of sunscreen, which is supposed to last her for a whole time. Then we have a bigger challenge. As far as the county is concerned, my push will always be let's implement what the national government is doing. We have a budget for people with disabilities. Even at county level, there's that budget. Let's also budget for people with albinism if we are talking of total inclusion.
Let's say that we're focusing more on the leadership side. Do you tell in what areas would you say that the county government is actually doing well in terms of addressing albinism?
For Machakos County, I can say we are doing great as far as people with albinism are concerned. We are seeing a lot of positivity because like now we have a Machakos Disability Board, which is it comprises of different people, types of disabilities. And we have a person with albinism in that board. That is me, and the vice chairperson in that board. So as when we get to budget, me being in the board is a plus for me to push for the idea of people with albinism to also get a budget so long as they are budgeting for other types of disabilities, we should also have people with albinism in the budget. Another positive thing I'm also seeing, we have now people with albinism in employment as far as the county is concerned, which is also a plus so that we can have well-empowered people with albinism who can also be able to take care of themselves and also who can help in matters of advocacy. In Machakos County, we have a department where they also intend to do intensive training by creating awareness and sensitizing the community about people with albinism and people with disabilities at large. So we can say they are really trying. And as far as people with albinism, in terms of being empowered as parents with kids with albinism, they are given extra amount of money in terms of bursary. So we can say in Machakos we are better off. We have also positive sides, not a negative sides. Because when you give a kid with albinism a bursary which can take her a whole term, you ease that burden of paying school fees to the parent of that kid, hence ensuring that kid stays in school without being chased away due to lack of school fees. My journey as a politician began in last year's general election, where I vied for an MCA seat in a place called Mugoni North in Machakos County. For a person with albinism and a person with disability, we can't say it's easy. We have double challenges. Because for me to do my campaigns, it's either I wake up very early in the morning, go talking to people before the sun becomes so hot, or I wait at around 5 when the sun at least is not that hot, so that I can also be able to go out and meet people and talk to them. So by the time you try to reach these people, you find you have a disadvantage. You are disadvantaged in one way or another. Your competitor is doing the campaign throughout the day. You are also taking care of your skin, you are taking care of yourself. So you find the level of competition becomes a challenge. But with all said and done, God is also great because I managed to be number 2 out of 10 despite my difficulty. And which shows as community, people are starting to embrace people with disability in political positions, hence making us encourage more people with albinism and people with disabilities at large to get involved in elected positions, not only to wait for nominations, Because at first we used to hear everybody is asking, why are you going for the elective seat? Why don't you also wait for the nomination, whereby you are going to get a free seat which you have not worked for? As much as I'm doing politics, I'm also doing awareness. Because that person seeing me out there, they are knowing I'm there. When you are doing branding, everywhere they are seeing the poster, they are seeing a person with albinism. And they are seeing me actually there, and it's a plus for us as people with disabilities.
My personal experience is actually I'm supposed to be traveling to Mombasa in the evening, and I've been there for a couple of times, and we all know how that place is so hot. Studio. Yeah, I know people have talked about having protective clothing is usually among the number one things we look at, and also having sunscreen. But on that note, I'd like to emphasize not just sunscreen, are we together? But good quality sunscreen. Kuna sunscreen when we use, they are not really impactful. There's another one I used in primary school, I think. But then you'll see, you apply this sunscreen, but then it won't help as much. You'll find that in the evening, you still have sunburn. And we people with albinism can attest how do I say, how Muscle was, right? You know how you feel hot, your skin peels for some time. You cannot, especially if you have those severe ones, when we wearing clothes, it's a bit uncomfortable. You know, skin can pinch, can itchiness, right? So that is my personal experience. And as much as we're going to talk about our own personal measures that we can take to be resilient and also help ourselves in this climate change, okay? So I'm going to start with Bella. Is going to give us her own personal experience, or rather what she does to have this effect of the climate change. So,
Really supposed to share my experience, what I do to take care of my skin. Kitu cha kwanza ningependa kuambia, as a human being, dawa, I always say, it's like a song to me, ni self-acceptance. Self-acceptance, kujikubali, knowing who you are as a person. Yeah, naweza kuwa mimi ni mfupi sana, lakini who am I? Do I love myself? Have I accepted myself? Najitambua, yeah? Kwa sababu we are all different. Kuna warefu, kuna wanene, kuna weusi. Ukiwa mweusi sana pia, people will have something to say. Nasema na ule ni mweusi, sio? Yeah, mpaka labda unaweza kuacha footprint kwa matana.
Hiyo ni kale.
Persons with albinism, we should be very proud kwa sababu kuna watu wanafanya skin lightening, sio? Lakini si Mungu ashatu bleach. Take your time, especially when you know that you're going out. Hata afadhali uamke mapema, ndio wakati unapaka hiyo sunscreen inaingia ndani, ina absorb. And sometimes ukiona kama hiyo sunscreen maybe ina harufu mbaya, si lazima uanze kusema hii sunscreen iko na harufu mbaya, siwezi kutumia. You can mix it with a type of lotion. Unaweza kutumia perfume. Me, that's what I do. Unajisikia watu wakisema watu wako na albinism wananukianga hivi. Never. So that's the secret. You can as well unaambia your sunscreen, unapiga kama una perfume by so that you smell unique. Si kunuka sunscreen kila wakati.
Add on what you're talking about, taking care of yourself. Yeah. It's good that we always, as ladies, always be open. There's always conversation that is going on when they talk about relationship with person with disability, and it's something that we always do every year during Valentine. And the ladies with albinism most of the time come out and tell us what they need. But we always do try to encourage you guys that many times people don't understand why you're like that and what it is. Just like that girl who always keep busy telling us that utanibahia hii, utanifanyia hii, utafanya hizi. You see? I think it's something going on and we are planning for that next year. We want to engage people with youth with disability when it comes to relationship conversations and what can be done and how we can be able to accommodate these people. I suppose Many times we do talk about many things that are not even being published. But as a youth, there are things that we must do that we need to be open to our people. So I appreciate for the what you're saying that lazima tu nikufanyie hivyo. I have a good friend in Uganda who's up in the name is called Nadine.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Nadine is married to one of my friends who is deaf. Yeah. And the funny thing how these people came together is like that. Nadine was open to the guy. And she would have expressed actually she was Nadine to one outside language. Basic for 2 months. And they're married, I think it's now 1 year already married. So it's like that. Maybe you guys, we need to come out and let us not just by focusing on water, but we need to also focus. Even with these our young men, tunajua tunawakatia mali chini ya maji. Vile vitu zingine pia tunafaa tujue sawa sawa. Because we are always busy in social media, posting this and that. What about ourselves as PWD? What are you doing? Because you know what, most I used to see you guys who post. Mtu anaenda tu pale kwa group ya disability chapter, anaenda pale kwa disability forum, anaenda pale kwa Kenya PWD forum, anaenda unasema I am 26 years, I am old, nataka bwana. Now, how do you want to So I've been so many these things. So it's something that conversation that as a group we need to discuss. Okay. Thank you very much.
They are very beautiful. Very. Yeah? As for me, hey, hata sijui mimi niko na kiburi sana. Nitasema credit yote inaenda kwa Mungu kitu cha kwanza, and then my parents, kwa sababu my mom has really tried to see me mpaka hapa kwenye niko, just taking care of me and all that. Lakini mtu asikuonyeshe ati wewe ni less. Ni mtu akikuja kwa maisha yako, yeye ndio anafaa kulana kujiaccommodate kwa maisha yako. Ajue needs zako, na kama hawezi wachana na yeye. It's not a favor, please. Bargain, your heart is not a bargaining whatever, senior. We are all human beings. We all have our blood is red in color, senior. We all have feelings. Ama nani hapa kuna albinism hana feelings. Tunaweza waambia tafuta ule mtu amekunoki kabisa kuliko vile wewe.
So I happened to go through the NYS, and from just my imagination, I know that training is usually very. You know, they climb mountains, they go to the forest. I can imagine. So can you tell us how you go to deal with that?
When you just look at point of me, like you put my ass Okay. But it's a nice place and it was a nice experience. I went there since about 2019. People in the town and I did my course there, ICT. So climate change there, okay, it was tough. So the normal guy, okay, see it was normal tough. Yeah. So you can imagine, you have to go to the parade here and you march and and then there is the PT, that is the physical training, where you go to the forest and over there and there. So we had to do this, like this case, to prepare myself for National Council. It was something like a scarf anymore, so I prepared my Then, before you get to the ground, you have to create a zone. About that, you could, let's say, walk and take a shower, eat, uko assured hata jui kuje hata kama imetumwa uko safe.
The family of my husband sikuwaona, so it came like a shock. So when wakati nilipata mtoi, my first one nilipata hapa Pumwani, and it was really a shock kwa sababu wakati nilimpata, in fact madaktari kwanza walimficha for like 30 minutes. Mimi sikuona mtoto, but walitu nilipata walimficha. So nikakaa nauliza, where is my baby? Then nilikuwa na madaktari karibu 5 wamekuja. Ananiambia, mama, you need to be cancelled now. Nimefanya nini? And
yani wanaogopa kuniambia. So nikamwambia, kama kuna chochote anything bad, just tell me. Ndio wakaniambia, utapata mtoto ako hivi na hivi. And huyu mtoto itabidi uanze kumlea hivi. So wakaanza kuniambia, nikamwambia, silete kwanza mtoto, I have to see the baby first. So wakati nilimwona by the way hata pia I was in shock. Nikashindwa haya. Nikiangalia watoto wengine na wengine ni weusi ni wangu tu. Like kumwani mzima, I was the only one a baby with a baby. So kwanza kitu ya kwanza wakanipea mtoi, but wakanikansel kidogo, akaniambia mtoi anataka tu mafuta but hizo hazikuwa zinanipangia. Mimi kenye nilifanya nilikuwa naficha mtoto. Like hata nikitaka kumnyonyesha ilikuwa inabidi nikafunike kabisa, yani hata jirani asione. Yani hospitali nzima wengine wako, yani wengine walikuwa proud na watoto wao anashika mtoto anawakumbanisha anawapanguza, but mimi nilikuwa nafanya chini ya maji, nimefunika mtoto but nakapanguzia huko. So my worries ilikuwa ni what about the husband, kuja au mtoto itakuwaje. But wakati alikuja kampatia mtoto akacheki, hakusema kitu, akanyamaza tu. Nikasema thank God. So my family walikuwa wazuri tu, wakaniambia usijali, mtoi kama ule mwingine tutakusaidia kulea. So sikuwa na shida na hiyo. But sasa shida inakuja kwa community. Once umetoka hospitali unakuja sasa nyumbani, yule mtoto yani unakuwa very shy hata kumtoa nje. Like hiyo wasini naambia mtoto wangu first hakuwahi kujua. Nilikuwa naishi kumficha kwa nyumba. Tukitoka nje inabidi nimfunike kabisa asionekane na watu. Yaani afadhali akufie huko nje na joto huko kwa mgongo. Lakini nisimtoe nje watu wamuone. Hata tukienda church nilikuwa namficha tu. By the way watu wamekuja kuona mtoto wangu akishakuwa kubwa. Like 3 years. So my second born akapata kwa black. My third born nikapata tena kwa albinism. Na sasa nilikuwa at least nimepata ile awareness kuhusu mambo na albinism. So hiyo haikuwa issue kubwa. So huyo nimeongea vizuri. Nimeongea nikijua what is albinism na nini nafaa kufanya. So I know how to apply sunscreen, to protective clothing. So as in sahi najua. Ndio maana for a mother I try very much. Nikikutana na mtu ama mama mwenye ako na mtoto mwenye ako na albinism, kitu ya kwanza mimi hukaa naye chini kwanza nifundishe. Nimwambie kwanza huyu mtoto kama ule mwingine, mpende mkubali. Kwa sababu wewe usipompenda mama yake, yule mtoto pia atakikataa. So kisha mkubali ina
about inclusivity and advocacy in climate change action program. I'm going to start with Sharon from IND. And my question to you, Sharon, is how is the action network for disability IND, including persons with disabilities in this whole conversation around climate change?
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, so at Andy, we've started doing programs on climate justice, and this came after following the effect of climate change to persons with disabilities. This is a conversation that is out there and of interest currently, and we just thought when people are crying like the floodings in areas of Nyando and other parts of the country where are persons with disabilities. So this became an area of interest to us, and we currently piloting a project on climate justice in Kisumu, Nyando. Yeah, so just to make sure that persons with disabilities are part and parcel of this conversation, and they also involved in taking actions towards climate change. Yeah, so
in that program, we are targeting persons with disabilities and communities around those areas to ensure that the voice of persons with disabilities are included in climate action programs. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. That's great work from Andy. I'm going to move to KISED, Kenya Institute of Special Education. Sir, education is one of the most effective ways of ensuring that information on matters like climate change is propagated. How does KISED ensure that this type of education content is integrated into the education system?
Okay, thank you. If I zero in on the issue of protection and issues of bringing in climate effect, the climate change effect on learners, we train teachers how to support both learners who are typically developing. That's what people call normal. Of course, all of us are normal. Hakuna mtu ako normal, sio? They are called typically developing. Because, and then those that have disabilities or special needs are also, the teachers are given how to support them when they are taught. For example, learners with albinism are not taken to the field. You'd rather cancel that PE lesson for all the whole class because of one child with albinism if the weather is harsh. So we advise them to put such outdoor activities either very early in the morning or late in the evening. I remember what my friend Derita said her campaigns were. Now kuja kuniambia nikuchague hata sana. And then we also, at the functional assessment, talk to parents. By the way, KISE is constructing a building that is going to be only for parents of children with special needs and disabilities, so that they can come there, get a conversation, interact, and you see, like what has been said here, ati mtu kuweka mtoto kwa jua aungue ndio awe black. So such things happen because of lack of what? Knowledge. So sensitization, now that education moves from the teacher, goes to the community, goes to the parents of children with disabilities, and moves that way to the lawmakers and policy implementers. In assessment, we are reaching out to the grassroots, and there now we go and tell the people the effect of climate change, and we encourage, we work with the political wings, we also work with the provincial administration on enhancing practices that will make us move away from the harsh climate effects that bring about disability, and that if you have disability, you protect yourself from that. And remember, some of us are persons with disability and we don't want to increase. We don't want to increase, isn't it? So we tell people on how to reduce that. Thank you very much.
Shona, there's an interesting tweet I saw on UBK's page. He said, when it comes to conversation around asking persons with disabilities what can be done for them to be included in this whole conversation, that conversation happens. But when it comes to implementing what persons with disabilities said, that conversion is not there. So I'd like to know, do you think persons with disabilities are actively involved in the World Climate Change conversation?
Thank you very much. Maybe straight to your point. I think everything is being done in one and especially in Kenya. Now, personal disability being involved in every sector, in every whatever. But the question is they attending? There's always that invitation to be here. There's always that all types of information on how they're going to reach. Now, me personally, maybe let me speak from my experience as a journalist walking around, seeing the participation of persons with disability and their attendance. I came to realize that the number of persons with disability attending the university, it doesn't mean that there is no people they are there. But the problem is that the people that we impact, they kind of, it's like we have the disability sector nowadays level the pedagogies. So sometimes someone looks who went to school and to went to school. Someone looks maybe how vocal he is or she. And I think that most of the areas that we pedagogists go wrong when it comes to meditation. I think it's also good that people with the participation of persons with disability, we need to also relate the OPDs, because OPDs has a good data of the people within the society. And OPDs can be well having the information about them. But if you keep on saying that people with disability are encouraged to attend, number one, there's no sign language interpreter. And let's not just talk about sign language interpreter only. The sign language interpreter is invited, but the deaf is not. Let me give an example of what happens in climate change summits that happen in KICC. The good number of sign language interpreters around 30. I personally, as one of the delegates, was invited here in online. And there's something wrote on the Twitter to the government of Kenya that you guys, what is the difference? How many people did you invite here? And yet we're seeing high number of persons, high number of sign language interpreters. And then this question was now the partners, let the environment department was when the task is said, we invited everyone, and then it's like there was someone who was in the data system who invited, and by the time they went to pick the badge, they denied. So it's a question that still we are acting on. Like now, this upcoming with product that is coming now. My boss is working there, and one of his communication officers, we have a problem. I asked her that if you guys are going to engage this, please make sure that there's also persons with disability. If you cannot just work on where you are expecting persons with disability to apply, you think how many people with disability apply. So it's very important that people to inform the CS that still you need to engage the National Council of Persons with Disability, UDPK, all this disability knowledge, at least also to have the number of people, but not talking about them, because some of them are not following all the instructions that are especially the deaf community, who sometimes will be assisted to understand everything that is here. So I think for us to engage and to ensure that this that involvement of participation of persons with disability, let us try to know who are there, people who are there, not just talk about pedagogies. Because I've been seeing when you talk of pedagogy, for me the high number of the people I've been seeing attending the event are always visible. These are the people who attend are able to attend those events. But when it comes to albino, blind, once, to be honest, that's what I've been trying to observe in this whole discussion. But now, what I can say that still there is not enough engagement for the person with disability in the environment that we have. Yes.
I want us to look at the documentary that we did to capture the voices of persons with disabilities in the wake of COVID-19. And this was done in 3 counties.
kama mimi natenga yule alafu anakwenda kukaa wapi ndani ya nyumba, na wao
lakini ukipita kwa ile msitu unaenda unapata kitu na kuangusha na unajua ni ya ambazo ni za binti very light. Kwa hivyo ninapata kidonda plus pia nikichomeka na jua na kwa zile rashes zile naanza kuwa na kama tunakuwa next hivi. The process of the our biggest challenge because of the melanin defect. We have the damage that they experience from exposure to the radiation. This is our biggest challenge because when they expose to the sun, even in the tropics, and it's an environment where no trees from the sun. Therefore, they exposed to the sun. This cumulative causes damage to the skin. And over time, they develop precancerous skin rashes, which, if not attended to, can convert to cancer formation.
Black Organism is a youth-supported disability organization that is at the forefront of enhancing the human rights of persons with albinism in Kenya. The project is seeking to raise awareness about climate change, to measure the amount of knowledge that persons with albinism have around climate change, and in turn, put interventions and come up with new mechanisms on how we can enhance the knowledge that persons with albinism have around climate change. And also the work that we are doing through this particular project will help us to understand how can we enhance and how can we undo on the already existing interventions that the government has put in place. Also, most importantly, what the parents have been doing so far to be able to raise their children.
In some countries, climate change has been linked to drought and floods, which then has been linked to worsening poverty in general. And the worsening poverty in general in communities has also been linked to an increase in attacks against persons with albinism by people who are desperate to make a living and are misinformed about these myths around the potential of body persons with albinism to provide wealth or some kind of fortune.
Within this community, I think I was the first person to I was not aware of this. Even she went back home and she consulted and advised me to get back to the because no, there's nothing wrong. This is normal. And even your little get old. And it's like that was better. And you reject him to see people do.
We've got a lot to work on when we consider education and health and employment and all the other rights, let alone getting to know about climate change. But yes, I think it's also for governments and for individuals as well to help build the awareness and knowledge of persons with albinism around climate change, where the discussions are happening, where they can input into discussions, and also for governments to actively seek out persons with albinism and ask them for information, so that information can be infiltrated into the decision-making forums where decisions are being made, and there can be more advocacy for persons with albinism.
My approach to leaders is to engage and discuss about our challenges, understand and put measures in place. I will engage to among those that are challenging, make others
My mother had joined a group. Wangali matatu alikuwa wameshika na kikundi kamilikundi cha sabini na mbili that project changed this community.
The lady who spoke about those who take advantage because of the misconceptions that body parts of persons with albinism could enrich you. She is the UN independent expert for matters or enjoyment of albinism at the UN. And it was very important to speak to her because
we cannot isolate ourselves, or we cannot work in couples. We need to look for international collaborators. And I'm also pleased to mention that our work was featured in a report that was released just recently by the UN on matters like climate change and albinism. And I think that makes me a very proud human being and my team for this fact. I will do a small joke that we are celebrating us, for the work that we've been doing around climate change. We need to holistically look at how do we find solutions that will be long-lasting. Now, Hagai was talking about how it takes her time, like almost 3 hours, to move from across the border of Tanzania, that is at around Namanga, going to Kajiado Level 5 Hospital, just to go and get 1 bottle of sunscreen. And to get there, and she's told, leo madaktari hawako. Can you imagine that? So it is very important that we continue to work on making sure that such services are accessible very easily. And talking about access, one of the key outcomes that we want to take out of this project is a product that we are building, and we're calling it UNICEF. And what basically UNICEF is supposed to be doing is how can we make sure that we bring key services closer to persons with albinism. And when we talk about key services, we are talking about protective wear, we are talking about sunscreen, we are talking about access of information about climate change, because it is very important. And as we've heard, everybody in the room is talking about it. And that is what will be the next activity, which is the closest hospital to you. And also, we are able to know your names and your biodata based on how you have provided it to us. And why this is particularly important is, one, Jerita talked about the national government planning for persons with albinism in terms of disbursement of sunscreen, but also at the county level. It is very important. They cannot give services if they do not have data. So this website will be able to help us to make sure that we have enough data and we have actual data for every person with albinism who will be able to use it. Also, this platform will be able to allow us, once we know the exact region that you are from, as you can see, if you are able to see, there is a place where there is hospitals. You can be able to go into that and click on the nearest hospital that is close to you. How many here have done online shopping? How many? Yes. So what we want to do, when you click on the hospitals and say you are from Masaku, Machakos is very near to me because we've worked there extensively, and say you are from Machakos and you click on hospitals, the main hospital that offers sunscreen in Machakos, it's level 4, right? Level 5, yes. You'll go and click on Machakos level 5, and once you click on Machakos level 5, you will be able to check out the number of sunscreen available at Machakos level 5. And then once you see the amount of sunscreen that is available, you can go ahead and order sunscreen. And then we will be able to get that data from our back end, and then we will communicate with the hospital and say that X, Y, and Z need sunscreen, and they have applied or they have requested for it. And then you will ask me, Alan, then what happens next? So if you it is expensive kutoka Jenta, there is a place that she said, ni watu for Masinga, wamesema kutoka Masinga is very far. But once you place an order on the website and we are able to know that somebody in Masinga needs sunscreen, then we communicate with the hospital. There is something that the president launched recently. So we launch community healthcare volunteers. Yes. Then we connect with the community health volunteers and we give them the information of where the person has requested for this sunscreen. And then they will be able to sort of deliver that sunscreen for 2 persons with albinism. Definitely, still very futuristic, but this is the way that we are supposed to be looking at it. Also, if you cannot be able, or if the CHB is not able to deliver this sunscreen, you can always say that I have booked this sunscreen, I'll be able to come for it on a particular day. So that when you go to the pharmacy, you do not have to queue for long hours, you just come in, do your usual checkup, and then you do what? You pick your sunscreen. That is one of the things that we are looking at having on this website. And another thing that we're looking to do on this website is, for those who can afford sunscreen, There are people in here, Akina Brenda, Akina Lois, and everybody else who can afford this sunscreen. But we'll be using this site to look for deals that offer cheaper sunscreen but quality sunscreen, and we'll then be able to curate it. And if Brenda is subscribed to our website, we'll be able to give them live updates that, hey Brenda, sasa hivi kuna sunscreen unaweza pata na 1,500 na unaweza fanya nini? Unaweza ichukua na unaweza inunua. So that we are able to make sure that persons with albinism do not go through the high challenges of finding sunscreen, one that works for them and that is not very expensive. And also kuna example Brenda alitumia na IU. The order that comes out of sunscreen, right? There are key things that a person with albinism is supposed to do. Na hii taongelea wanaume sana sana, ni sisi tunasahau kufanya, si ndio? Wewe ukishaweka shati yako na kuna kofia yako, unadhani sasa wewe ni Superman, unatoka mbio. But what this site will be able to do, it will be able, if you are registered, the keyword is registration, si ndio? It will be able to keep you updated on every milestone you're supposed to hit as a person with albinism. And because tukipata pesa, if the project runs off, we'll be able to reward people who make sure that they hit all these milestones in a day. I am looking at 4 milestones. 1, you wake up very early in the morning, take a shower, 15 minutes, wanaume will never do that, 15 minutes, unapaka sunscreen before you leave the house, sindio? And then you go into the app, send a kukumbusha, you tick, milestone umeimaliza. Then you have to check, do I have my long sleep and all of that? Alafu unafanya nini? Unatoka kwa nyumba. In the process of kutoka kwa nyumba, so umesahau kila kitu. But also before talking kwa nyumba, we'll give you an update of how the UV index, who knows the UV index, what it is? Anybody in the room? UV index? The UV index is basically the ultraviolet index, which will be telling you how either hot or cold the day is going to be, so that you prepare yourself adequately. If you get this key information in the morning, then unaweza sema hata leo sihitaji kubeba umbrella, sindio? Because UVCF, which is looking out for you, has told you that the UV index today is going to be a little bit moderate. Men, hata madaktari wanasemaga 5 glasses of water a day, but men sijui hiyo maji ni kama sisi kubeba water bottles isiyo kazi yetu. But it will also be able to remind you as you're doing your activities in the day, just a notification on your phone, hey, janitor, kindly you are reminded to hydrate. Hata ndio huja anafanya nini? Yeah, you are reminded to hydrate. And then when you come back at home in the evening, there are key things that you're supposed to do for you to make sure that you do not have that after smell of sunscreen. What do? Unaoga. Wanaume saa zingine hivyo ndio unaingia kwa kitanda. Sorry men, I am giving you secrets away, but si ukweli. So UNICEF will remind you that you have to wash your face, and if it's a lady, you have to wipe your face off of the sunscreen and the makeup that you had throughout the day, and then you do something very important that Brenda spoke about, apply after sun. If you do not have after sun, you can do what? You can use any type of Vaseline or any type of lotion that you might have. One of the last sections that we're looking to have on this website is a shop that will also be able to look for affordable products that you need as a person with albinism to move and make your life a little bit easier. If you could click the shop for me, and this shop will have different products from long sleeved apparel to wide brimmed hats, not just any type of wide brimmed hats, zile mzuri kama za mheshimiwa hapa, sijui anazitoaga wapi, lakini atatuambia, so that we can find them at affordable prices and make them available for persons with albinism. And also mangola na kalikali za kina ayu and all of that will make lives for persons with albinism a little bit easier. You might ask me, how do other persons with disabilities benefit from this? We know that one of the stumbling blocks that we are facing in fighting against climate change is information. So we are going to have a resource hub where we are going to be curating all types of information about climate change and disability, and it will be on this platform. And Patricia might also ask me, are you leaving those without albinism behind? it is very important also everybody else that they remember to hydrate, that they remember to have the key information about climate change and how the weather is going to be like throughout the day. This is something that also everybody else can be able to benefit from this product or from this project. And also lastly, as I'm winding up, this we are building a website out because that is what we can afford at an organizational level. But when I look at Mama Hagai, where she is on the border of Kenya and Tanzania, how will she be able to use this platform? We are looking at having it on a feature phone, USSD. Once you register with your phone number, you can also as well be able to do what? To access the key information that you might need to protect yourself. Even if you live in Masinga, even if you live in Kitui Central, even if you live in any part of the world. Na vijana pia watatuambia sisi hatuendagi website, sisi tunakuanga tu mtandao. We will also be building an application version of the same. But all this is dependent on the availability of resources and funds to make sure that this becomes a reality. And all this is in our case or in our commitment to make sure that persons with albinism get to enjoy their lives a little bit better. But also, we do not want to exist in a cocoon. We do not want to put ourselves in a corner and we play what I call the disability Olympics, that this disability is lesser than the other disability. And that is why it was very important for us to invite other persons with disabilities so that we can have this sort of conversation that brings us together. Because as the mantra is, nothing about us
without us.
Without us. And
we have a background image and we have text on the foreground informing us what UNICEF is about. Informing us of what UNICEF is about, and you can also have the sign-in option. So scrolling up further, you can now see the weather today. It's mostly cloudy, and as per now, we are at the highs of 22 degrees and lows of 22 degrees, which means we have a lower temperature. I'm going to say about having a shop. So we have anything that is on offer, it will be able to inform you whether sunscreen, protective clothing, or even UV blocking accessories such as sunglasses and more. Okay, scrolling much further, we also have a testimonial area, whereby once we launch it, and the testimonies that you guys will give us as feedback, you'll be able to write them there, so when others are just welcome or are new to the website, they can be able to see what others are saying about the website. Moving on to our next page, the About Us page. So in the About Us page, we have a similar approach to the landing page on OP, where we have a picture in the background and our text in the foreground. Scrolling down, we are able to see our mission and also our vision as UNICEF. Then you can also meet the team that is working with us and collaborating with us to make this project a success. So we have Keith Bradley as being the project manager. We also have 3 more guys who are not able to make it today due to they actually had some other meetings, which I apologize for. So we have Ken White, who's one of our backend developers. We also have Aaron Medokai, another backend developer, and we finally have Elizabeth Othiambo, a software developer, who's helping me out with the front-end part. So after that, you can be able to get in touch with us. So just like fill this form, just say test, and put in a random email like ABC. We say great work. So on sending the message, we see right here, this area, where you get your information, your name, your email, and your message. We are here to connect it to a working email whereby we just press send message, it comes to our database and our emails on our end. So we are yet to continue the updates, but once we do finish, I'll let Alan update you on. So thank you very much. And if there's any question, I'd like to handle them. Yes.
Are comments allowed?
Yes, comments are allowed.
Oh, okay. For me, I'm impressed. Yeah, that's wonderful. Until Alan said that he's including other disabilities, I was like, I wish I would like someone who tells me how the weather is, before I go out. Yeah, because now you know the umbrella, is it a sweater and all that. And some of those stuff look cool. See what I mean? As a visor, like Madame here. Yeah? Senior, they look cool. Senior, they don't have to be for persons with albinism only. I think they look stylish and all that. So for me, from me, it's Heko, Hongera Sama. This is wonderful. Looking forward for it to kickstart.
Thank you very much.
To me, I would like to know more about the USSD, how it's going to work, given that the information is a lot, unless it's going to be in a simplified form. How a person in Masinga who does not have a smartphone, but how brief is all this content going to be in USSD form?
It will be very brief, just like a Safaricom platform where you just type star 5 gives you a list. So when you dial the USSD for UBC, it will give you a list of what is available. First, it will have the weather today, where when you click, it updates you on what the weather is. Apart from that, you will also have the about us as a second option, where you see the vision, amenity. Then that option will be the hospital, where on clicking the hospital, you have other options such as sunscreen and eye care. And if you click the sunscreen, it takes you to availability. And from there, you can just select, and it can send a notification to the hospital's backend. So yes, we are yet waiting for the API so that you can connect the two. But for starters, we just decided let's start with the website, which is the most simple part. Then on scaling, we can now do the USSD and the app.
You mentioned about the umbrella. I wanted to ask if it is just only the umbrellas or the umbrellas which are at least they cannot access some. Because the other umbrellas when you put on when it is heat, you can hear that heat. And there was a time back sometimes I had an umbrella which even if the sun is still, you can't feel the heat. The umbrellas you're going to sell there, are they going to be normal umbrellas and
We'll be selling the UV blocking umbrellas, whereby you can't feel the heat at any particular time. But it's still an ongoing project, so once we are able to get the funding needed and we launch it, we now start the process. And also, I think Alan will give you more information since he's the one giving me the information on just the technical part, making sure everything works seamlessly and is in great condition. So, yes.
Now, in the spirit of inclusivity, though it is noticeable that most people with albinism are also affected with their eyes, so perhaps we do have people with albinism who are completely blind. So have we factored in how people with visual impairment are going to access the information?
Yes, because for example, talking about visual impairment, when we made the app, the website, very compatible with each. Yes? Yes. Yes. So, yeah. So it also has the screen reader, and another option is it's available, it's adaptable to the screen reader. So for example, let's go to more. So this is a laptop. This is a laptop display. That's how it looks. And on a tablet display, it changes a bit. And also you have the option of rotating. So apart from tablet, you have now the phone. You can see the phone is different also. So it's adaptable to what you're using. So suppose you're even using the smallest phone available, which is the Galaxy phone. It's still adaptable. It does not break. It works seamlessly. So we are also continuing as you said about the blind. We now want to add a speech, text-to-speech option where you just can read what's on the website upon hovering your finger.
All right.
Thank you very much, sir.
Maybe my contribution to that, I think maybe the speech is there. However, it's good to make the website accessible in terms of whoever wants to use it with a screen reader, so that it does not have those graphics, too much of graphics that will hinder the screen reader to go through. And if there are graphics, then they are going to be the graphic labelers of the screen readers will be understanding or will be sensitized to know this graphic is, maybe if it comes across a picture of Alan, for example, Alan doing ABCD. So those labelers, the graphics should have descriptions that will now help the people who can see to know what is happening around the graphics. So other than making it maybe have a speech to read the information, which may be a little bit difficult for you to make it be very much interactive, because that I know it will cost a lot. Maybe just start by making the website that screen reader accessible.
Yes, thank you very much. We've actually considered that, and we were actually working on it, and we are yet now to test it. So it's still in the production stage, but once it's through, I'll let Alan inform you.
Is there any charges when you want to log in free?
Yes. Why are you asking tough questions? Okay, one, when we are piloting it out, it is going to be absolutely free. We are looking at two ways. Yeah, we are looking at private users and government users. When you look at how we have set up the architecture of this platform, this is something that we can host even at the National Council for Persons with Disabilities, and particularly for the Albinism Sunscreen program, for them to use it. But because we are bringing the architecture and the technology, then we will sort of be commissioned by the government to do that one. And for these other aspects that a personal user or a private user will be using, there will not be a cost to you, but if, of course, when you go on the internet, free of charge, it will only cost you your internet, same as the application. But for those who use on a USSD, it will cost you around 50 cents. Yeah, 50, not 50 more, but it is less than a shilling for you to be able to send that message and then get the message back, because it would be expensive for us to post that the whole platform on a USSD platform. But for the rolling out stage, everything will be absolutely free. But as we continue to ideate and build out the platform, we'll be able to charge a small fee, a very minimal fee, for us to keep the project sustainable. James, I see you have a question.
I've already asked what I wanted to do, and especially the USSD.
Yeah. Yeah, but depending on the availability of resources, because this will be heavily reliant on donor funding. And if it is on donor funding, then we'll be able to incorporate that aspect of costs to run a USSD. Because what the USSD guys do, they do not charge you money directly. You see, even if you go on Safaricom star 544 hash, there is a very minute cost that they cut you for you to be able, because you are communicating with a remote computer. So once you've done that USSD, then it goes to the internet and collects that information and pushes it back to you. The service provider does not pay for that. You pay it with your money. Though it is not expensive, like 100 shillings imeenda, utashindwa zimeenda wapi? Hapana. Yeah. Situpate mtu wa kutuombea chakula sasa. Nani ataombea chakula? Katerina, kusema unataka in small pieces.
And with that, we were done. Yeah, so it was lunch, some photos, and of course, we went home. Now, I hope you have subscribed after learning all that you have learned. Do like the video and share so that we pass this information to a lot of people, and leave your comments. What do you think? Otherwise, I'll see you on the next one. Adios.